All right, let's do it. Welcome back to the show. ThonLexy, your host, here with another live reaction. Shout out to Ashley Dalton. We're going to get into it, even though, shout out to her. Want to give her a shout out, even though I'm going to be a little bit hard on Ashley today. Women giving each other dating advice, it's never really been a very good thing. And I say that with all due respect. And I'm going to get into why women have a difficult time giving each other advice. We're going to cover 2 archetypes, including one that I know you guys are certainly looking forward to seeing that's gone viral with the woman who's overweight. And I'm not sure if she even really knows it, or she knows it, but the way that she's perceiving it, it's not really healthy. We're going to get into it. Hit the like button on your way into the room. We had a great show last show, had a big turnout. We had a hard time keeping the likes at 50. Let's do better at that. We're looking for a show sponsor. Everything over 20 qualifies. You guys know the rule. We're trying to reach a show goal of $100 each show in the Cash App. And that's how we guarantee that we'll come back the next day and that you guys want me to continue doing shows. And it's been appreciated every single time you guys reach goal, no matter what you guys donate. Let's go ahead and get into it. Fill the room, drop those locations. Let's have a good show.
My dog died.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
You are really gone, for real.
Toronto, Canada in the building. Let's get it. What's happening? Y'all good? Much love, Henry. Get to work. What's up, Brother Black? Connecticut in the building. Kendra G's neck of the woods. So much to cover. Let's do it, man. Let's get into it. Charleston, South Carolina in the building. Let's get it. What's going on? Welcome. Shouts out to everybody who supported our short form video earlier today. Much appreciated. Hit that like button on your way into the room. What's up, Ebony? How y'all doing? Inglewood, Cali in the building. Let's let one off for Cali. What's happening? We already got a super chat sponsor. Let's get it. Mike Young says, big fan of the show. My God, keep doing great work. You know it. You know it. I appreciate it. People know that there's only one place that does it like this. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the platform. Let's get it. Brenda's tuning in from Mars Space Station. You wild, boy. KTR Radio in the building. What's up? How y'all doing? A few more minutes, we're gonna get going. I'm ready to work.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm ready to work. Clear the board, because we need a new show sponsor, so let's clear the board. NC in the building. What's up, Dr. Rice? What's happening? Just a few more minutes, we're gonna get started. Thumbs up. Chicago, Illinois in the building. What's happening? Hit that subscribe button if you come into the room. PA in the building. What's up, RM? That's the greatest YouTuber. The greatest YouTube moderator. Let's get it. What's up, RM? Y'all good? What's up, Raven? 1 more minute. And then it's time to cook. Okay. How you guys doing? Time to get into it. The time has come. We would have got to this show maybe 2 nights ago had Kendra G's show not continue to have moment after moment after moment after moment. And it called for shows. Then things were happening over at our Arletta show that just, it was in higher demand. This is a business model that goes off of engagement, and what should be reacted to a lot of times goes off of importance. But again, I thought this was very important. Been itching to get to it for about a week. I actually had somebody send me this through the email. Shouts out to whoever that is. I forgot your name. I don't have time to look through it right now, but you know who you are. You're appreciated. The feature presentation, the call that we're going to react to after this specific call, is so important. It's so important because we're talking about the weight issue and the fitness issue with Black women. It's one of the more touchy subjects, but it's one of the ones that it seems like Black women are in the most denial about. And amongst other things that they're in denial about, the weight thing is the one where it seems like Black men are getting the most pushback. But in this case, it was Ashley Dalton. Even though the conversation stayed friendly, Ashley tried to do that thing that Kendra G does, where she tries to be in full support of a woman, but also try to give her abrasive advice, but also try to give her that Black girl magic, I understand where you're coming from energy. And she proved that kind of tactic or that kind of style of advice giving, it doesn't work. It doesn't work with Black women. And it further proves that people like me who choose a more abrasive and aggressive style, people like Kevin Samuels who are a little bit more abrasive in the way that they approach this, is because we understand something about Black women. We understand what it takes to get through to them. And we certainly know that doing things patient and trying to be nice about it is long overdue. It's long overdue when it comes to certain topics, and we have to stop acting like that isn't the truth. Let's get this super chat read out of the way so we can get started. What's up, Ebony Perkins? She just said, thanks for keeping us ladies accountable. You know it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Ebony. Thank you. Shouts out to Ebony. She represents many Black women who are actually trying to grow and actually develop. And if women could watch content like this and not be triggered and not see themselves so much that they can no longer listen to the conversation, they can improve. They can get better results. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, this conversation actually doesn't have anything to do with weight, but it does have something to do with female appearance and how it relates to men in the dating market. And the interesting thing about this exchange was that they tried to have this conversation completely void of what men actually think about if women should wear makeup or not. That was the premise of the conversation. Should women, to attract a high value man, should women wear makeup or not? Ashley Dalton represents this very interesting group of women who believe that the key to a high value man, or one of the keys or one of the variables that you need to have in place to be able to obtain a high value man, is to wear makeup. Now, I personally disagree with that, and especially because I'm a man myself, and I'm just like how she's studying Black women at the moment, I'm studying Black men also. And I know for sure I'm not in alignment with Black men on everything, but I do know one thing. We all pretty much have the same complaint about makeup. We don't really like it that much. That's the truth. And women acting like being at your best has something to do with makeup, that actually isn't the truth. But we're going to get into it. It's going to get interesting. We're going to put on display how women don't do a good job of giving each other advice and how they're pretty venomous towards one another. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's spin the clip. Cash App, stop the show. If you have a special message, support the show. Let's reach our goal of 100 so we can come out tomorrow. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's spin the clip.
Woman either. And if you do wear makeup, it doesn't mean that you're set at a class other than somebody that don't wear makeup. But as a woman, as a female, we are taught to want to look pretty. We are taught to keep our hair done, our nails did, make sure we're looking good as far as the face, our skin is clean. That's what we're taught. So you do have some women that's not as girly as a lot, But no, I don't think for you to wear makeup, it makes you just a high value woman either. I'm gonna be completely honest because I got a lot of male friends. And some people, you know what I'm saying, makeup don't work for everybody. You got some men who say females look good in makeup, and when they take it off, they're a whole complete different person. And now they don't want them. You got a lot of people that wear makeup to cover up a lot of things that, you know what I'm saying, they don't want to be saw. So
And what about the girls who have nothing to cover up or don't have blemishes or dark spots and have beautiful skin and wear makeup every day? What about those girls?
that's a plus. When you take that makeup off, you still looking good. That is a plus.
Absolutely.
But I don't think makeup works for everybody because I've seen people who wear makeup and have taken their makeup off and do not look the same at all. I think it should be a fine line between wearing makeup and looking completely different than what your natural face look like.
Absolutely. I would say anyone who puts on makeup looks completely different. I don't care how no makeup it looks. I don't care how natural it looks. If you're putting foundation on, not just lashes and gloss, but we saying foundation, concealer, even if you do it lightly, let's say you're not even doing it heavy, your face will still look different versus the before.
Yeah. But it's also not changing features and different things about you. But I do feel like makeup enhances women. It enhances a lot of things. So I think makeup is actually really good for a lot
Do
of
you
women.
think there's certain settings you would wear makeup in versus others, or you just don't wear it at all?
No,
It's
I'm
not.
wearing makeup anywhere I go. Makeup is a must for me. I
Oh,
love
it's a
makeup. I love
must.
playing in
Oh,
makeup. I go out. When I go out, I'm wearing makeup. Now, when I'm in a house, no, I'm not going to just put on makeup to sit in the house. But if I got somewhere to go, I'm putting on makeup. And even right now, I have makeup on. It's light foundation, but it's makeup on because I've been out the house today. I like the way I look. I feel like I'm more alive when I got my makeup on. I look more, I'm ready to do whatever it is I'm ready to do versus coming out the house looking like I'm half asleep. You know, like I think makeup works for a lot of women. I think a lot of women, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say you almost had me fooled. I thought you said you didn't like makeup.
No. I said I don't think makeup is good for women who overdo makeup to where they look completely different. Because I have a lot of male friends, wearing makeup doesn't necessarily give you a high value man because you have some men that actually like women how they look without the makeup. Because some women do overdo it with the makeup. They really do.
So are these friends that you have? What type of guys are they? Or like what type of men are they?
I
Do
have all
they
different.
do they frequent like galas and charity events and maybe more events that will require you to be more how do you say, buttoned up, glam, that kind of thing?
No, not all my friends are like that. I have a mixture of friends, but for the majority of it, I don't care whether you a man that's going into charities. A lot of men do not like makeup, and I want to say a lot of makeup because some women overdo the makeup. I'm not even gonna lie. Some women definitely overdoes the makeup, and it doesn't look the same. Like me, I can put on makeup and I can see myself with the makeup on. Like I see this is me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, it's not you. I'm gonna say
Okay, now if anybody's confused about whatever this babble is, they're in disagreement about makeup. This is why I think men have to be the authority on like dating and relationship stuff. Regardless of women saying like, you guys can't talk about women. Only women can talk about what women want. You need to focus on the men. Well, we get the men together too, but you guys aren't serious enough. I'm just gonna be blatant. I'm just gonna put it out there. You're not serious enough. Like, I'm having a hard time taking you too serious. It's like, and what's really funny is both of you, neither of you, I mean, you're not considering what men have to say. Men are sitting over here with a real perspective on this, and both of y'all are just deciding what it is. When we have a perspective, if you want to hear it, I mean, if you want to hear it, we have a perspective on this. But the old girl over here, she is basically saying there's nothing wrong with makeup, but some girls like wear too much of it and whatever, and they look like a whole different person. But the truth is men don't like makeup at all. We're just not ready to argue with y'all about it because there's so many things that women don't know what it's like to have to go through a lot of filters of conversation with a woman to have to gain access to her body. There's certain things we're just not going to argue with y'all about if it's going to derail all the things we have to go through to like get to, like, you know, when it comes in regards to seduction, to get to know you. That's why we don't want to talk to you about your weaves and about your lashes, but we will at the barbershop, we will at the basketball court and at the Y when we have a private moment, but we won't say it to you because you're emotional and you'll withdraw our opportunity to be able to sleep with you if we do. And since we understand that, we've evolved to just not talk about certain things, you see? Certain things we just leave you guys alone. We really wish you all would leave it alone, to be honest. And I guess women might have probably have been doing this for a while. And a lot of women don't wear makeup to change themselves. I think that it's the little girl in them. They like accessorizing. It's not all about like deception. That's the truth. But I think what women should be considering is, what do men want? What do men have to say in regards to this? Because we're the ones who have to pick. Nor Ashley Dalton or this broad over here, neither of them have power over who's going to pick them or marry them. They have to just go to the dating market valuable enough to be picked. All right. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
It's to everyone. It's not you if you have makeup on. It's still not you. Even if you put the lightest coverage, it's still technically not you.
No, it ain't. And I get that. It ain't. But like I'm saying like, to feel like you have to overdo it with the makeup and stuff, you don't. Sometimes you can go outside with a light foundation and, you know what I'm saying, still pull men. If that's what you want to do, if you're not married or, you know what I'm saying, you single. But
Absolutely.
like when I look at your makeup, the blush, I wouldn't wear as much blush, but I think it's cute on you. I really do. I think the blush is really cute on you. I don't think your makeup is entirely too much. And I feel like when you take your makeup off, I'm not getting a whole new woman. You won't say a whole new person.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Well, you know what? With this makeup, I have no complaints. You know,
And I think people, and I think some women just, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, with my makeup, I have no complaints. My bills are paid. I ain't got to struggle. Nice car, nice house, living in the sky. You know, so I guess that helps a little bit for me. And that's not to you, but, you know, I'm just saying.
Okay. You haven't done anything, you haven't disrespected me, Ashley, so I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm going to offer you up a little bit of advice that you probably don't want. It is what it is. This isn't the way to go about getting people to want to follow you and so on and so forth. I'm going to get to how you're wrong in your point in just a minute. But first I want to say, I've been studying your content the same way I've been studying Kendra G's content, because my community has called me to examine and analyze Black women for the betterment of the community. So that's what I do. And one thing I've noticed, and I think it's something maybe you can consider, you can take it or leave it. You're not treating your guest very well. And you're giving off this I'm better than you type of energy, and it isn't inspiring them. It's actually antagonizing and intimidating them. So that's why you're having these moments where you've had 2 calls so far that have been kind of like respectful, and then they derail and the woman starts to attack you. And I think it has something to do with your arrogance. And it's nothing wrong being proud of what you accomplish, whatever that may be. But again, these women can smell that you think you're better than them, and you shouldn't do that. Now to get to what you said, well, with this makeup, my bills are paid and everything's working fine for me, so that's just my perspective and whatever. Here's where you're wrong, and she's actually more on point. Because Ashley, the reason why you might have guys out here who are willing to pay your bills or whatever, it has far more to do with your beauty without the makeup and the way your body's shaped and stuff like that. It has very little to do with your makeup. Have you seen a woman? What if one of these ladies on My 600-Pound Life, what if they had their face beat? How much would it matter, Ashley? That's just a very simple analogy. You can't beat it. There's no counter for you to beat that analogy. You just have to accept it. Because by your logic, we can go get one of them whale broads from 600-Pound Life who have to have blurs on their genitals when they're not even naked. We can just go beat her face, right? And they have men, but not good ones. We just beat her face down, pat her face up with some makeup, and hell, she can get the same men as you, right? By your logic. But the truth is nothing could be further from the truth. There are plenty of booger wolf women out here putting on makeup, and when we find out what you really look like, it doesn't even matter if you ever put it on. You really wasted your time. We're still not gonna deal with you. And it's a lie. And it's a lie. Let's go ahead and continue.
Yeah. Right, and I think some people just feel a type of way, because for me, it's like the same thing, and I don't want to change subject, but it's kind of like the same thing for me. When I see females getting online, like TikTok, or just on social media, period, and they do 304 work, or 305, whichever one, I hate that females get on here and they want to push that on so many females and make it seem like, oh, you can't have the same lifestyle as me if you don't, you know what I'm saying, get it the same way, or I'm better than you because I'm getting it this type of way. And I think that's where we need to kind of cut it at when we're explaining one thing. We don't have to kind of compare it to something else as it not being as best as this one.
What made you bring up 304? Like,
I
what
brought
made
that
you
up
bring
because
up
that's
being
another.
a hoe?
Because it's kind of like the same thing. You feel like because you feel like when a female wear makeup and a person that don't wear makeup, they're not in the same class. It's basically what people got that message from. So I'm saying that's kind of like the same thing of females who get online and make you feel like because you're not doing something that you're going the wrong way.
Okay, for the record, let me just put this out there.
Or did I not put that right? Maybe I shouldn't have used that as an example.
No shade to the girls who have to feed their kids and maybe they have no other way, so they have to do certain things and be a quote-unquote 304. But let's be crystal clear. I have 2 degrees.
No, I think you're missing why I said that. I'm not calling you a 304,
Okay, no. I want to set the record straight.
Oh, no, I'm not calling you that. No. You don't give me none of that.
Let's be crystal clear, baby.
No, that's not what I was giving. I was giving an example for the other women who get up here. And basically what I'm just trying to say is when you talk about makeup, you don't, where a lot of people is, I don't care because I.
Wait a minute. What just happened? Listen. Black women, you guys have so much venom inside of you. You can't have a respectful exchange with one another. Ashley, again, I'm not sure where your defense is coming from. All she's trying to do is intellectually explain to you why makeup isn't the guaranteed key to a high value man, and that certainly is the truth. Somehow you got defensive and I think the girl referenced that some girls have to dress up like 304s or they wear makeup because they're trying to get somebody, like they're trying to work a guy over for some money. I think you thought that she was maybe trying to refer to you, but that's not even at all how it came off. But you said, hold on, I got 2 degrees. It's like, who the hell even mentioned that?
I own 2 companies, Kendra.
It's just modern women. It's almost like a knee-jerk reaction that when y'all are challenging a conversation, it's just like, well, I got a degree. It's like, what does that mean? What relevance does that even have to the conversation? And why are you so bothered? For the life of me, I watched this exchange 4 times. I'm trying to figure out what this lady did that like made you be like, well, look at everything I got. And so if you don't want to listen to me, good luck. And then you like, well, I got 2 degrees, so ain't no way I'm leveraging my makeup for this or that or whatever. It's like nobody's talking about you. She's talking about the watching women try to like have these type of discussions is funny because you're too emotional to do it. And women secretly, for y'all to be all girl power, black girl magic, all this other stuff like that, you really don't like each other like that. Like black women, y'all don't really like each other like that. And I can tell. Because a group of women who be damned if they gonna be the one, y'all never be able to cooperate with each other. You're all too aggressive. Social and agreeable like other women in other communities at your baseline, but somewhere off, our women lost their way. to the point where we rather derail an entire conversation and start attacking one another than stick to the logic. And I think you want to be a leader in this space. I can tell. If you want to deal with black women, you're gonna have to have thicker skin. That's the truth. If you're gonna do this, you're gonna step up to the most aggressive and abrasive, masculine, warlike woman in the entire dating market. You're gonna have to get a backbone. I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told Kendra that got her mad at me. You're gonna have to step up. This ain't for the weak. This is Sparta. There's not anything for play here with these black women. But you have to know when to get aggressive and whenever. You're just defensive. You're ready to get into personal battles with these women and size up with them. And they're gonna do that with you all day. Because it doesn't matter if a black woman got $2 or if she got 300,000, she's gonna show you that you're not gonna talk to her or do certain things to her because it's more important for black women to prove a point than to preserve a feminine frame. I'm really confused to why you just Tourette syndrome like yelled out your degrees like that. Borderline the new, I'm a PhD. Borderline, I got 2 degrees. So, like Ashley, you have to understand something. You having 2 degrees brings you no closer to a high value man than any of these other women out there. When I looked at your page, I saw that your bodies may be built together. I don't know if you've had work done or not. I personally don't care. But you're pleasing to the eye by most men. Most men will find you pleasing to the eye. That is why you'll have success with a lot of high value men versus the next woman. You're giving a lot of these women advice and there are things that you do, but I'm not sure you're exactly sure why you're successful in the dating market. That's what this young lady's trying to challenge you with, and you cannot handle it. And I think you've already decided that if you can't beat someone logically, it's time to attack. That makes you the same thing that makes you just like the women who you're trying to coach to. But hey, who am I? I'm just a guy on YouTube. I'm ready to move on to Fatso. Now, and even before we get into the feature presentation, right before I think the show started, was it before? Yeah, it was right before the show started. There was this white woman, right? She came on and she was kind of in agreement with Ashley, but she actually ended up speaking more to what men actually feel about these type of issues around women's fitness and their appearance and makeup. Let's listen to that for a few seconds. Then we're gonna move on to the feature presentation because I got something on it.
Going house to house and robbing homes. And darling, welcome up. It's nice to see you again.
Oh, you as well. I had to hop in because I'm enjoying this conversation so much. But I wanted to just share my 2 cents, both from a personal perspective and a professional. So from personal, I'm married to what people on here would call high man, very successful, provides a beautiful life for.
The blended gap, hold on, you're cutting in and out. You're lagging a little bit.
Is that better?
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay. Alrighty. Okay.
Hopefully this is better.
Yes.
All right. So he provides a beautiful life for me. We get to travel the world, live in a beautiful home, go shopping. We're very connected spiritually. And I can tell you for a fact that I would never have gotten my husband, regardless of how sweet I am, how intelligent I am, if I didn't look a certain way. right? If I didn't take care of myself, if I didn't present myself in a certain way. I think a lot of women here also, they live in very competitive cities. I lived in Los Angeles, California. That's where we met. And, you know, he was in Hollywood. He was surrounded by models and just gorgeous women. And of course, it's not just about looks, but if I didn't look a certain way, I wouldn't have gotten him. That's an unfortunate reality.
Now, let me stop right there. She said, it's not all about looks, but if I didn't look a certain way, I wouldn't have gotten him. Ladies, that kills all you guys' arguments for, but what about a personality? Y'all never look at a guy's personality? Yeah, after we look at the way you look and make a decision on that, then we move on to your personality. It is what it is. There has to be an initial attraction point. And your physical is that initial attraction point. Then the second attraction point is your personality. But you have to pass the first level first. Get it? I'm tired of men being called shallow, and this is how men have operated since we've been men. Let's continue.
So that's from personal. And then professional, there have been so many studies where if you are attractive or you present yourself a certain way, you're automatically deemed to be more competent. People will pay you more money, your salary will increase, people will respect you more. As well as for women especially, it has been proven that it is more valuable for a woman to lose weight than to get a master's degree.
What was that? Said it's more valuable to lose weight than to get a master's degree. Who would have knew, ladies? Who would have knew? It's more in your interest to be a fit woman than it is to get a master's degree. So when thinking about Ashley's knee-jerk reaction to bring up her degree in a moment where she thought she was being referenced as a 304, but really a nerve was hit her, that shoe fit her. I think about stuff like this. I think about how important a degree actually is to a woman. It's not that important. And I want to talk about something really quick. Because men, we get a bad rap. And black women, you're not necessarily honest. I love you, but you're not honest. And let me tell you how. You listen to podcasters like me. When Mr. Samuels was alive, you would listen to podcasters like him. And you would act as if what we had to say was the first place that you heard those type of sentiments and these type of talking points. But nothing could be further from the truth. What actually is true is nobody will ever pressure you and bring these things up more than the older women who nurtured you out of developmental years. They'll be the most concerned with if you're going to get a man versus if you're going to get a degree. Way more than some guy who's making you mad on a podcast. Why are you all so dishonest and acting like the elders in your family aren't raising these same talking points to you just in a loving manner? When are we going to start being honest? When I was 7 years old, the first time I ever heard a woman be reprimanded about her weight, it was one of my cousins being reprimanded by my grandmother, my father's mother, about her weight. And she told her how she would get lesser men if she didn't focus on her weight. See, I didn't need to listen to a guy on a podcast. See, I came from the South where they just shoot straight. I didn't have to hear that on a podcast. There's a lot of dishonesty going on out here on the internet and on social media about RP content, dating and relationship conversations, what black men have to say about black women it's all lies. They're hearing it from their aunties and their grandmothers first. Their grandmothers are the first ones who say, baby, you need to get a man. I mean, what that degree gonna do for you? When you gonna get a man? What's that video that went viral? That old lady, she was like, you ain't got no man? You 37? She looked like she was on her last leg. You ain't got no man? You never go nowhere. She said, you still ain't got no man? And y'all know that y'all OGs talk to y'all this way. That's why when y'all come to platforms like this where black men are saying it, y'all are so dishonest to act like, where are all these black men coming from who just all of a sudden got a problem with black women? It's like, man, please. We're saying the same thing your big mama was telling you. And you watched your aunt be told that by her big mama when she turned 30 and she just got out of school, but ain't no man around. Stop acting like y'all ain't never heard an auntie get checked about this type of thing. Like, when you gonna get a man? Stop it. So dishonest. It's so dishonest.
There have been so many studies that have replicated this over time. And I'm not saying that that's a great thing. That's just the reality of the world that we live in. So,
hi, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome in. Do you have a question tonight?
I have a question.
Much love, Brother Black. He just sent it $4.99. He says, for the collection, much love. I appreciate you. That's one of our first super chats of the night. We had a few that came in. Let me make sure I got them all. Robert says, check out the NBA. No man ever. Much love. Thank you very much. Make sure I didn't miss anybody else's. Okay. We had a super chat. First super chat came in of the day. Let's get it. It's a 5. That's all right. I don't care how we get started. Scorp guy says BLP collection fund. Keep cooking, bro. Much love. Thank you very much. Let's get back into it. Now that we've got past that, now it's time to get to the feature presentation, what you all came to see. Sheesh, we're almost 100 in the super chat. Barely nothing in the Cash App. Much love to everybody who's supporting the super chat, though. Again, this should almost go without saying at this point. To be honest, when it comes to like how much men are discussing these kind of things on dating and relationship platforms, this type of situation that we're about to react to right here, it really shouldn't even be happening. This doesn't just speak to how delusional women are, because that's easy. We can say that all day. Women are delusional, whatever. But it also speaks to their willingness and how devoted they are to not listening to us and what we desire and what our desires are in the dating market. Women continue to call a man's desire to have a fit woman or a woman with a nice body a shallow desire. Or they try to say that it is it's superficial, right? Even though outside of her looks, there's very little she can offer when it comes to dating leverage in the dating market. Like, we don't really care about your money. We don't care about your degrees. None of this leads to your conversation being any more humorous or interesting. You're just educated women who talk just as much as women who are not educated. That's the truth. Matter of fact, when a woman is educated, she's just more inclined to believe that like you should follow what she's talking about. I believe women become worse submissive women. Like their ability to submit gets hindered. It like gets weak. It gets dim when they've like obtained a bunch of information. And they like, hold on, but I got a perspective also. It's like, no, shut up. It's what I said. We got us a super chat sponsor. Let's get it. I mean, a Cash App sponsor. Cash App sponsor, Kareem Bonus, dropped 25. He says, Becky spitting. I know, all right? I was like, man, we need to hear women telling each other this. That was powerful. It's more important to lose weight than to get a degree, than to get a master's degree. It's more important, she said, it's more important for women to lose weight than to get a master's degree. Best thing I've heard a woman say online in I don't know how long. Because we got so many women thinking that they can be 500 pounds and have a master's degree and think if she makes 6 figures, she can get a guy who makes 6 figures now. Girl, Bertha, you better calm down. You better calm down. This was sickening. It's hard to watch content creators like Ashley Dalton and Kendra G struggle through this because they're actually trying to be patient with black women. Like they actually think that this can be done nicely. And I'm here to prove that it can't. That's what Ashley Dalton does. We get different things from different shows. Ashley Dalton does a good job of putting on display that women can't give each other advice. You can't be nice to like black. You can't be nice and like be the nice guy. You have to be more Simon Cowell. You have to be more Gordon Ramsay. That's the truth. It's just we don't want to be honest about that. All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
So a little bit of backstory.
Valuable for a woman to lose. So many studies that have replicated this.
Do you consent to be on a platform and potentially all platforms?
Yes, I consent.
Okay.
So I am plus size, and I feel like it's like it's making me get in my head about dating. I've actually never had a boyfriend. Up until now, I considered myself a lesbian, but I've been trying to date more men. I've always been bisexual, but I just find that women are a lot more accepting, and I've never really felt the same sort of level of like attraction and want as a woman. So I would love any advice that you could give. I'm almost 400 pounds, but I do, I feel like I look cute. I have a really nice shape. People always tell me that they don't think I weigh that much, but I think it's more like mental. I know that men want to enjoy my body, but I've never had anyone really want me for me, I guess.
Hold on, men want to enjoy your body. What men? What men exactly are you talking about? Nice try. We're not gonna let you do that, ma'am. We're not gonna let you act like you have an asset and you don't have one. Amazement 717 says, why do women act like they just want nice guys and a sense of humor, etc., when that's not what they want in totality? They want those traits in the man they find desirable, not in general. Stop the cap. That's true. That's profound. Too Tall says, character on the floor laughing really hard. Oh, I think that might have been the little thing, the filter. Okay. Yeah. Lady, I promise, anybody who's dealing with you, if anything, they looked past the body. That's not what they picked you for. This is when I knew you were like on a whole other realm of delusion. That unique stuff. Let's get back into it.
And it's also a little bit difficult to date because I am high earning. I'm a full-time content creator. And whenever I meet guys, I usually tell them I'm a teacher. Because I am a Hebrew teacher, but you get those comments like, oh, you're big money, you're this, and I'm trying to avoid that. I don't even bring them over to my apartment because of that. So,
Ashley, you want to know what my problem is? Is men keep finding out that my apartment is nice, and then I just, I lose them. Lady, today's the day where you start being honest with yourself. If you watch this, today is the day you're going to have to start being honest with yourself. You're like, you know what? They always tell me I'm big money. See, guys, we say stuff like that, just small talk. We don't care. We can see your nice car and be like, oh, you big money, huh? We don't really care. We're just talking. I promise you, having a nice apartment, that's the least of your issues. My God. The truth is running from her, but she is faster.
I want the truth and any compliments or not compliments, advice you could give me to level up.
So I will say this. There is a group of men in the world who love plus size women, right? I say most African men, most Caribbean men like a full-figure woman. I know that for sure. Have you dated men who are African from the continent? Have you dated Caribbean men?
So I live here in Houston, Texas, and I get approached and stopped, like literally.
Before she continues lying, going on with what she was saying. I'm going to read this. B. Watt says, ladies, if a man is calling you big money, in quotations, he's clowning you. A lot of times, I know the scenario where that's happening. It's where a woman is, she's bragging on herself and her own accomplishments, and he's trying to like he's just trying to throw her a bone. He's just like, yeah, you know, you big money. Good for you. Still surprised you earned it, huh? Like, and if you're around a winner, he's not impressed. I'm never shocked when big girls are like framing hypotheticals where they're trying to hide their resources from the guy. It's because you can only deal with broke men because you're fat. It's math. Really, when you think about it, it's where you belong. Ed Hayes. Oh, my bad. Edward Hayes stopped the show and says, I came for the 400-pound chick. This is gonna be epic. You ain't lying. You ain't lying, Edward. Much love. Thank you for that. Make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Okay. That put us at 36. We're moving along. Let's continue.
They will not let me get out of my car, or like they'll be like blocking me in by Africans all the time.
Really?
But I feel like there's a lot of cultural differences. And, you know, a lot of African men, they expect their women to be like a certain way, like, you know, don't do this, don't do that. And I just find that it never works out. Also, I feel like a lot of African guys, they don't have that like quote unquote swag, you know? They're like, oh, there's no girls in my village like you. But I'm like, yeah, I'm not going back to your village. And then
How dare you diss African men for not having swag? And they're some of the only men who would be willing to deal with your fat ass. The nerve.
Die dog, die alone.
How dare you? How dare you? African men are the most likely men to want to like settle down long term with a woman who's heavy set. And you're like, I don't like them. They don't have enough swag. What world do you live in where you think you can be a 400-pound woman and like you're the woman who's like picking men off like a buffet line? Like you have that option. Must be a delusional one. Let's continue.
I don't mean, and you know, respectfully, I don't mean an African man who's straight from the continent, who just arrived here this year. You know,
Right.
maybe someone who's more, they've lived here a bit longer. They've, you know, lived in America a little bit longer. I
Right.
would say a good 10 plus years. They're more like Americanized, I would have to say.
And then I believe the way that I carry myself and even the way that I speak, I prefer black men, but they're always like, oh, you date white guys, don't you? And so I work at a synagogue. So most of the people that I'm around are white, but I prefer to date black. So it's kind of like,
Yeah, I think you prefer to date black for a reason. I think because, you know, white guys, they're far less likely to deal with you how you are. But the nerve of you to think that we're going to deal with it, like, shame on you. Don't think we're more likely to deal with you. Stop. I'm speaking for them today. You can go on back to where you came from, sister.
you know, people have one perception of me and they tend to put me in a box. But it's kind of hard because I feel like, you know, too quote unquote white, even though I'm fully black for black men. But then for white guys, you know, I tend to get fetishized. So
So this would be my advice to you, Ken. If I'm keeping it real, I would want you to drop the weight. I would want you to lose weight. I would want, and you said you're 400 pounds, right, Ken?
I'm 365 pounds. And for any women that are looking for,
Now, you told Ashley that you were 365 pounds. She promoted it as 400 pounds so she could market her content. She made you fatter just so she could get on. Y'all not really in support of each other. So stop bashing black men who be really trying to help y'all. That's all I'm saying. Y'all be really coming at each other. If I would have interviewed a man who was 365 pounds, I would have just put that he was 365 pounds. You wanna know why? Because that's still bad. It ain't like no, like that's like a lot better. It's just two different versions of living an unhealthy life. But you like, yeah, 400 will sound way better. You knew people like me would bite the bait. But y'all in support of each other. That black girl magic crap is a lie. If I Believe says all the thought she put into that, and you can't even figure out how to not be 400. It's like, you know, or like figure out what type of diet regimen you need to get on. a trainer, how to get up with Dr. Now maybe, because that's where you headed. You only 200 pounds away. Then you're going to be staring at Dr. Now. And you know Dr. Now don't play. He going to tell you straight up, you're fat and you don't need to be here. And look at you. I don't care what kind of social media influencer you are. He going to tear you up. And you know he is. And you're only 200 pounds away. You're going to be looking at Mr. Now. And you know he don't play. He's still alive. Don't play with him. Dr. Now is still alive. This is sad. And I wouldn't go hard like this if most of our big women weren't arrogant.
Plus size clothes, follow me because I post every day.
All right. So I want us to get the weight down. Can we start with 100 pounds? Can we start there?
So I actually lost 130 pounds 2 years ago, and I was getting approached a lot, but I feel like a lot of women go through like body dysmorphia, and you know, people were treating me so differently that I almost didn't know how to handle it. Like it was giving me a lot of anxiety. So I do believe if I dropped weight, it would be helpful. Even my mother says that. She's like,
ma'am, listen, I'm pretty sure that, like, I don't think you're being honest. And I've seen black women do this before. Like, they get challenged by a woman or anybody about their weight, and then they say, well, but I might be 365 now, but I was just 614. So really I'm doing, no. You just lost a bunch of weight to still have a lot of work to do, basically. Like you're not in the clear. You're just not as heavy as you were then. But just because you got down to a place where you're a different kind of overweight, it doesn't mean you don't have anything else to do. Whew. Let's continue.
well, if that's the only thing you think that, you know,
Yeah.
is not working for you, change it. But I felt like even when I changed it, I was getting approached by more men, but not like the quality of men that I would want.
And what type of man do you want specifically? How much money does he make? What's his lifestyle like? What is his character? Can you describe that for me?
For sure. Definitely a high earner just because I like, you know, over 100K a year, which is kind of the quality of men that I would want.
And what type of man do you want specifically? How much money does he make? What's his lifestyle like? What is his character? Can you describe that for me?
For sure. Definitely a high earner just because I like, you know, over 100K a year, which is kind of hard. I'm honestly not too big on like finances. I mean, of course I am, but I feel like with men, especially black men, you know, some of them are just.
It don't matter if you're not big on finances or not. You don't qualify for a man making 100K. Shame on you. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, lady. You don't qualify for a guy making 100K a year. For some reason, this went from being funny to where like now all of a sudden I'm triggered. Like this is upsetting. I don't care how much money you make. See, you're making the same mistake as the other overweight women make in the dating market. You don't know where your value actually lies in the dating market. And I promise you, it isn't your money. You hid your money from those guys for no reason. They don't care about it. That wasn't how they were evaluating you. Even if they mentioned it, they were evaluating you with your fitness level and your beauty. And that's where you're failing at. That's why you have men who you don't want to tell them how much money you make, because they're men who are at the bottom of the dating market. They're the only men who see you. They're looking for a come up. They don't even really value you, most of them. Most of them just see you as a stepping stone. Then when they get on their feet, they're going to move on to a woman who takes care of themselves. It's true. So, and the problem is, when people stay overweight too long, they just normalize things that aren't even normal, so they don't even know what's what anymore, because the dating market that they exist in, you have to accept crazy norms all the time. So by the time you lose the weight, you really don't even know what to do. That's why a lot of you women, as soon as you lose weight, you you end the marriage, or you get promiscuous and you leave your marriages if men are foolish enough to like work with you to like lose the weight. Y'all don't know how to handle it. Because it's a whole new world when you're loving yourself. When you're loving yourself, you get hollered at even more. Black CNN says, 365 pounds? Imagine a year sitting on top of you, bro. It's, you know, y'all know how I am. About big girls being on top of me, the fears I have, them rocking the bed and me. I've never been far over 160 pounds. You can't just be rocking the bed and rocking me. I don't care what type of Megan Thee Stallion knees you have. You can't just be rocking the bed and rocking me, damn it. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We only got like 5 minutes, then we'll finish.
Not there yet, but you know, I care about education. On my dating apps, when I use them, I always like try to filter out people that have like a graduate degree or above, high earning. I am not too big. I mean, of course, got to be cute in the face, but I'm not against dating someone who's bigger because I am bigger. But really, like, you know, fun, a sense of travel and adventure. I actually went on a 30-day road trip to Alaska, so I don't have a regular job. I want someone that can, you know, be free, kind of like how I am. And my mother told me I should go to Afrotech to like meet some guys because I'm here in Houston. But someone that just has the—
Yeah, Houston is a very competitive dating market. Them thick Texas women is walking around Houston, like you're not competing with them. She right. She said, your mama said, go to Africa. She said, get out of here. Go somewhere else, because you try to compete in Houston, you lose every day of the week. You lose every day of the week.
their shit together, you know? I feel like now a lot of women are like, oh, he has to make this and do this. It's honestly kind of hard sometimes just finding a man that has like a solid job, his own apartment, and like a car. So I just want someone who like is a full functioning adult.
Dr. Rai says, is it an oxymoron to say that the delusion is real? Yeah, just about. Just about.
And, you know, can have a conversation. There was a man about 3 months ago who actually—
Before you tell me that, sorry to cut you off, Ken, about that you met 3 months ago, I want you—
Before she gets into that, Squared Away says, Don, she has the nerve to be a Travelisha. AK her, please. You got it, boss. Yeah. Oh, somebody said Afrotech is in Houston. Oh, I thought she said something else. Okay, Mama wants you to stay in Houston. Never mind. Mama doesn't care if you succeed.
to know, and it's unfortunate that we live in a superficial world. And I'm not saying you don't look beautiful or you don't keep yourself put together, because I think you do, right? But I want you to know we live in a superficial world, and I want you to know exactly what you're asking for exists. However, you have to change who you are to get that guy. So there are men who make 100K plus, who are educated, who want to travel, who read books, who can engage in intellectual conversations, right? They do exist. But I think you can open up and change your reality when we change ourselves, right? So I want us to work on our weight. I want us to drop the weight. And as you're losing the weight, just so it doesn't feel like, how do you say, like, wow, overwhelming when you're losing the weight, I want you to go to therapy and get you a fitness trainer and listen to affirmations while you're going through the process. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
But this is only your reality. I'm not saying, again, you can't attract a quality man, but this is your reality because of who you are right now. That doesn't mean you're not beautiful, but I know if we work on our—
See? You women really can't help one another. Because again, not every woman in the dating market is beautiful. For you women to be able to give each other advice, y'all have to be able to get over the basics. You guys can't hop over the 4th grade, everybody gets a star shit. First off, if you want to be able to help women in the dating market, truly, not every woman is beautiful. I don't have to be an image consultant or anything to know that either. Everyday men who work blue collar jobs know that every woman is not beautiful. Men decide that. See, the problem with you modern women is you're not as humble as the women of yesterday. You guys are taking the wheel from men, taking the steering wheel of a car that men are driving and say, I'll tell you what you should want. You really want a woman who's educated. You really want a woman who makes a lot of money. I know how to drive, and it's getting aggravating that we're still having these conversations about money. We've been talking about this for 3 years since Kevin Samuels went viral. You women have no excuse to still be lost on how like your income doesn't really bring you real value in the dating market. No excuse. Your value is in your beauty, your fitness level. Ashley's right. Right now you live in a sucky life. But the truth is she doesn't want to tell you the harsh truth that you're not beautiful. You need to know that. Women who aren't beautiful need to know that they're not beautiful so that they can not try to like go for the things that beautiful women go for and try to live that lifestyle. That ain't gonna work. That's what that girl was trying to tell you, Ashley. You didn't want to hear it. The problem is y'all want to be direct, but you also want to say, we all win, ladies. No, it's not gonna work. Not gonna work, sorry.
I'm a good man. Like, he really wanted to date me. And I was like, okay, this is what I've been wanting, like someone that actually wants a relationship. But he was so boring. Like, literally, it was like talking to a wall, like watching paint dry. And I will agree that I probably like slept with him too soon. But it was like, you know, if we are going to be in a relationship, I need to see if it's like good or not. I mean, it was okay. But it's like after we like had, you know, intercourse, that's all he could think about. And
hold on, Ken. Ken, you over here talk about men sexualizing you, but you saying you got to test the eggplant first. Hold up now. So you want demon time too?
Well, no, this was like after a month, and he was like pressing me to be in a relationship. I was like, I don't even know if I'm like, I don't know. Like, he was, maybe because I hadn't had.
We got 400-pound women in the dating market calling men boring. And man, this is interesting. I wonder what Mr. Samuels would think about this. Nimikon says, he was boring, yet she let him hit it. Yeah, interesting, right? He was boring. He was willing to deal with you with all of that matter, just blob. You're a blob. He was willing to deal with you while you're at a huge disadvantage. And I mean huge disadvantage. Still gets zero respect. Fellas, this is why y'all can't be like empowering these whales. Give them nothing. We got to start starving a lot of these whales because they think that they can talk like the women who are actually delicious in the dating market. They're starting to get confused. They're starting to think that they have a chance and like they can like talk to men crazy. What's happening? Ugh.
Anyone that wanted to be with me like that before. He was so adamant he wanted me to be his girlfriend. I was like, wait, this is like too much for me. Also, maybe I wasn't really feeling him like that. But you know, he bought me jewelry for my birthday and like did all the things that I wanted, but he just wasn't for me. So it was
why wasn't he for you? Was it his looks? What was it that changed after you guys had sex? What changed?
He just wasn't really interesting. I feel like I'm someone that gets bored kind of quickly. And I'm not trying to say like I was just like, oh, I just kicked him to the curb. Ashley, he was so boring. You know, whenever you sit with someone and y'all have nothing to talk about, like you have nothing in common, or whenever you're really holding the conversation and then you stop.
You want from a man, but he was boring. So you cut him off because he was boring. That's what you're telling me, Ken.
I cut him off because I didn't think he was very emotionally available and he was boring. My car got broken into and I was really, really upset because they stole some very sentimental things that you can't just rebuy. He was like, oh, don't worry about that. I can just buy them for you. And I was like, you're not understanding. I'll never be able to get those things back. Like, they meant a lot. And he was like, oh, I know how to make you feel better. We can just have sex. You probably need to have sex. And I was like, is the only way you know how to make a woman feel better to have sex or to buy her something? And I told him I needed more like emotional connection. And I gave him like a month.
Oh, you needed an emotional connection from a guy who you said was boring? Why do you need anything from him? I'm starting to be with B. Watt. I'm starting to think that you're lying anyway. Like, I'm starting to think you weren't even telling the truth anyway. That's the truth. You were lying. This is really depressing to see. I think that you were lying about that last guy, and I think that's very signifying of like that you have really low self-esteem. The relationships that you have had, man, you're fabricating them, and we don't have to be experts to tell that they're fabrications. Like, you're claiming that you wanted an emotional connection with a guy who you that you claim you were actively like trying to get away from, or like you weren't really like serious. First you didn't take him serious, then you wanted an emotional connection with him. It just kept switching up. It's like, which one is it? Like, do you want to be with the dude or did you? Anytime you see a woman and she's like giving time and energy to a guy who she doesn't even know if she takes the guy serious or not, that's everything you need to know about how she values herself. Any woman who will spend even 1 hour of an evening with a man and she doesn't know why he's there says a lot about how many quality men are available to her. And it's actually saying that she doesn't have that many. It's interesting the way you women lie. And then a lot of times women go out in the dating market, y'all are lying about engagements, you're lying about marriages that didn't happen, and you're all simultaneously saying, I don't want liars, I don't want cheaters. You guys lie a lot. If you're not putting on makeup, which is putting on a whole other face, which is a lie, or somebody's wig, which is another woman's head, eyelashes, all different type of things to deceive men, you're just flat out, just blatant lying. Just lying. And to think, it does take some mental work to lie on a habitual level. Just imagine if you went to the gym habitually, for real. You can put the same amount of effort into things that will actually yield results. Who would have knew? You better get to work. Stop playing. Get off the internet trolling and get to the gym or get to a doctor, because you may be at like you might be at a point where you probably need surgery of some kind because you let the problem get really bad. This isn't trivial. This isn't whatever. There's no gray areas with this. This is the black and white. Either you're going to live a healthy lifestyle as a fit person or you're going to live an unhealthy lifestyle as someone who is not fit. It's up to you. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We didn't quite reach goal today. We did have a Cash App. Scorp guy says, posting every day. She posted be at the gym. Much love. That put us at $41 for the show. About $60 under goal. Still appreciate you guys for donating though. I will be back with some more work tomorrow. Probably some more short form content. We got to get back out here in these short form streets. But yeah, I appreciate you guys all supporting, coming out with me, rocking with me. I wanted to do a pop-up show today. So again, we'll be going live more often. And so you'll be looking forward to seeing ThonLexy. If you're new to the platform, hit the subscribe button. Okay, it's very important. If you've already been subscribed, unsubscribe and resubscribe if you're not getting notifications. That's something that we've been doing lately to try to offset the reason why people are randomly getting unsubscribed in massive numbers. And then we'll like gain them back, then lose them again. Pretty frustrating. It's one of those things that come along with being a borderline content creator and being controversial in the space. It is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you everybody for coming out. I'll see you guys in the next one.